I never imagined I would be calling in a medevac helicopter to come down and land on my front yard on a peaceful Sunday night. But there I was, kneeling next to my father, as the blood drained from his face while he struggled to breathe. Meanwhile, the HOA president hovered at the community gate, clutching her clipboard white-knuckled and refusing point blank to let the ambulance pass because it wasn't on the visitor list. "Dad, hold on," I pleaded, my voice breaking as his breaths were shallow, brief gasps. The wailing of sirens grew louder, and then vanished. My phone vibrated. A text from my neighbor. "Sheila's standing in front of the ambulance at the gate." I gazed out the window. Red and white flashing lights sat idling at the gate, and Sheila, waving her arms like she was marshaling a parade of traffic, directing the paramedics. That's when I picked up my phone and dialed. "Tom, it's Ethan. I need the bird. Bring it down onto my lawn. My dad's having a heart attack, and the HOA's preventing the ambulance." 10 minutes after that, with neighbors pouring onto the lawn and Sheila yelling something about property values, I was leading a medevac helicopter onto my newly manicured grass. The same lawn I'd been fined for growing a quarter-inch too long last month. 3 months prior, I'd returned to my hometown after a decade of flying medical helicopters around the nation. Dad was aging, and once Mom had passed away, he'd been living in solitude. I wanted to be close, to visit on him. Housing costs were outrageous, and the only remotely decent place near him was Willow Creek, a guarded complex with the most zealously controlling HOA I'd ever had the displeasure of dealing with. I came up in a community where people would park RVs in the front yard and paint houses such as Atomic Lime. Willow Creek, however, possessed an HOA that cruised as if the Pentagon. Nonetheless, I signed on the dotted line. "Welcome to Willow Creek," Sheila Baxter had greeted me at my initial HOA meeting. Her grip on my hand was wooden, her smile so tight it made piano wire look loose. Her gaze inspected my cargo pants as if I'd shown up in camo to a wedding. "I'm president. You'll have to read our bylaws," she said, presenting me with a binder the size of a Bible. "Thanks," I said, hefting the thing. "I'll take a look." "Do that," she replied, voice sugary with an edge of steel. "We take standards very seriously around here." I nodded, instantly regretting everything. Most of the neighbors were okay. In the next house, Sam and Lisa kept a Labrador which they sneaked out past 9 p.m. to sidestep Sheila's "no pets outside after 8:30" policy. Across the street, retired General Hawkins fought a daily battle over whether his rose bushes were against aesthetic harmony. 2 houses down, Maya, who worked at preschool, got cited because her sidewalk had chalk markings. "You'll either learn to deal with Sheila," Maya said to me one night as she measured Hawkins's trash can positioning, "or you'll lose your mind. There's no in-between." It took 3 weeks, but I received my first violation. I was cutting the grass when Sheila materialized, brooding like a storm cloud. "Mr. Carter, your grass is 2.6 inches high. It needs to be 2.25 inches. I turned off the mower and swiped sweat from my forehead. "You're measuring my lawn?" "We do weekly checks," she said, as if that were completely normal. "Adjust your blade, or you'll get fined." She stopped. "And your mailbox?" "Cobalt blue. Only midnight blue is sanctioned." "It was the house," I explained. "The former owners got fined as well," she said breezily, taking notes. "Section 8, paragraph 2. You have 72 hours. I just stared. She wasn't joking. "I'll handle it," I grumbled, my tone dripping in sarcasm. She didn't pick up on it. The infractions mounted quickly. I was cited for a garden hose left exposed, pumpkins displayed too soon in October, parking in my own driveway after 4 hours, a non-board approved wind chime. By the second month, I was racing Hawkins for most absurd offenses. The last straw? Repairing a porch. The boards were rotten, so I had a fellow come to repair them. Pete. He'd just begun when Sheila swooped down like a hawk. "Do you have a permit?" "It's a repair," I replied. "Same boards, same color." "Any exterior modification has to be pre-approved," she barked. "Form 27C. Wait for the next board meeting in 3 weeks." "These boards are a safety hazard," I protested. "I almost fell through one." "Then don't use the porch," she said, taking more notes. "I'll also need your contractor's license and insurance." Pete gave me a look. "She nuts?" "Power drunk," I whispered. He shook his head. Call me when you've got a permission slip. The next day, a $300 fine came for unauthorized construction. That Sunday, Dad came over for supper. Pot roast, Mom's recipe. He'd been sluggish lately, rubbing his chest. It's just indigestion, he growled when I pushed. Get examined, I insisted. You've been dodging doctors since forever. I'm okay, stop badgering. He froze mid-dinner, fork to plate. He grabbed his chest, eyes staring. Dad? He lurched and fell. I fell beside him, heart racing. He was cool, breathing hard. I recognized what this was. I called 911. My father's collapsed, chest pains, barely conscious. The operator guided me through aspirin dosing and vitals. I had shakes in my hands. Then there was a text. Sam, Sheila's blocking the ambulance. What? I exclaimed. I ran to the window. Flashing lights. Ambulance stalled. Sheila banshee crazy at the gate. I yelled for Sam. Stay with my dad. He came running. I took off down the street. Sheila was blocking the paramedics at the gate in her Lexus. All cars must be registered, she persisted. This is a life or death situation, one of them barked. My dad is dying, I bellowed. Mr. Carter, she replied calmly. There are rules for a reason. Drive your car or get out of my way, I snarled. No threats. I'm ensuring safety. The paramedic attempted another approach. Is there another entrance? Nope, I replied. This is it. That was when I remembered who I was. I moved out of the way and called Tom. Get the bird in the air. My lawn's clear. Bring the crew. My dad's crashing, and we've got a gate goblin holding us hostage. A cop rolled up as Sheila began spinning her tail. I'm just following protocol. She's obstructing emergency services, the paramedic snapped. Officer Grant took one look and ordered her to move. Sheila huffed, muttered something about the board, and reluctantly moved her Lexus. 312 Willow Drive, I said to the paramedics. Sam's with my dad. I spoke to Grant. FYI, I've got a helicopter on the way. He blinked. You what? I'm a medevac pilot. My crew's on the way. I'm not about to let this HOA play God anymore. Grant nodded. I'll clear the zone. At my house, the ambulance was in my drive. Neighbors grouped outside. The hum of rotor blades got louder. They're flying him to St. Luke's, a medic said to me. He's stable, but he requires a cardiac team. My unit's en route, I replied. No further delays. The helicopter landed while neighbors recorded video, Maya herded children, and Hawkins stood at attention as if this were a parade. Sheila pushed into the crowd with a citation. This is a violation of 15 ordinances, she shrieked. No one listened. The helicopter landed, collapsing my lawn and blowing Sheila's hair straight back. Lopez, the crew chief, leapt out. What kind of HOA is this? He bellowed. Long story, I shouted. We put Dad on board. You coming? Lopez asked. Yeah. Sheila attempted to block the tail rotor. Back up, Grant growled, taking her by the arm. You'll all get evicted, she shrieked as we took off, her voice getting drowned beneath the rotors. Dad lived. St. Luke's cardiologist inserted a stent. By morning, he was griping about the jello. You're on rest for a week, I reminded him. No more playing tough guy. He growled, then smiled. Ethan, you saved my life. Just paying you back, I said. And hey, that chopper landing was worth it just to see Sheila lose it. Word traveled quickly in Willow Creek. My voicemail was full of HOA board members calling for a special meeting. My lawn sported a pristine landing scar that I didn't mow over as a bragging right. Wednesday evening, the community center was filled to capacity. Sheila occupied the board table, exuding self-satisfied indignation. Here, she started, we are to discuss Jack Carter's many violations.